Hi, my name is Hong Chan. I'm one of the founding members and performers of the DC chapter of the Classical Revolution. Let me tell you a little bit about CR. We started out about 6 years ago in San Francisco. Many of the musicians I have not met, including the founders, but a group of San Francisco conservatory graduates got together and they created an environment of inclusiveness and welcoming and comfortable atmosphere for people of all walks of life, but musicians at heart, to come together and play what they call chamber jam, meaning come together and read music together. Fast forward 6 years, here we are one of them, like people like you and me, who may play instruments or not. We rose to the occasion, and we say, let's create a chapter in DC. And we took a plunge, we faced our fear against public's apathy and some traditional classical musicians, rejections of the idea that, quote unquote, we might be selling our arts for cheap or for free. We step out and we play in restaurants. For example, if you are from DC area, Alexandria, we have been playing for 3 years at a Lapota's restaurant on Duke Street. And on November 11th, this year, we'll be making our debut at Baltimore and Washington. And I hope to see some of you there to come and sit with us. And I hope that you have a newfound sense of appreciation of where we came from and where we will take you with our music. So what have we done locally? First of all, we have performed. I'm a pianist. We have performed at a local library in Rockville, an underfunded library who try to create a concert once a year, have no money. It's a rickety piano that I played on, to a group of 20 people, adults, children. And I can tell you that it was one of my best experiences to perform for public, because the applause was as deafening, if not more, than when I was performing in a traditional concert hall. Because people were hungry for arts everywhere, not only at Kennedy Center. That was great, and we want to support all the music communities where we can, but we want to bring the music out to you where you are, not having you to come to us at the concert hall. There was one. Secondly, in this September this year, we also performed outdoor, first time as the classical ensemble at Adams Morgan Day Festival on 18th Street, Columbia Heights. Stood shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe with rock, folk, blues band. We started out at 12 o'clock and ended up there was a toddler dancing in front of us while we were playing Mozart. And let me tell you, the bad influence of Mozart on kids these days. So whether you are in Paris, London, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, Phoenix, New York City, Philadelphia, and beyond, and Australia, and in Montreal, we welcome you to sit with us and find where we are, hopefully in some part of the world someday. Thank you.
Imagine going to your favorite local bar on any given weekend night to meet up with your friends for a drink or to see whatever game is on TV. Now imagine that same night you see a group of people walk into the bar with strange-looking cases, putting piles of sheet music onto the bar counter, and taking out instruments like bassoons and cellos. At some point, the bartender switches off the 80s rock playing overhead, and the next thing you know, you're in the middle of a Mozart string quartet performance. Welcome to a classical revolution event. Let's face it, classical music is struggling in today's society. I can tell you that most of my non-musician friends can't list a single piece of classical music or have never been to a concert. At Classical Revolution, we believe that it's up to us as the musicians to do something about this and to take action. And we're doing this because we love classical music, and we believe that it's a powerful form of expression and art. Traditional classical music performances can be expensive, formal, and sometimes they require a certain amount of background knowledge or concert etiquette. And while these types of performances are extremely valuable, they're not necessarily for everybody, especially people without prior classical music experience. So at Classical Revolution, we're trying to offer a whole spectrum of concert experiences for people with varying levels of formality at little or no expense. And people can enter the musical experience at whatever level they feel comfortable. So what we're doing is putting on concerts in places where people are gathering, like bars and cafes or parks. And we're trying to bring a raw and human element to classical music. So we're encouraging our audience to clap whenever they feel like it, or to kind of like hoot and holler like you're at a rock concert. And we've had events where people kind of started like free-form dancing. It's been interesting. But we want people to feel involved. And so while we've had a lot of really amazing experiences and unique experiences, we've also faced a certain amount of resistance. The first kind of resistance that we've faced is resistance from the public of who we're trying to appeal to. We never know what's going to happen when we show up at a bar. Sometimes the audience is not really receptive to what we're doing and they don't really want to hear it. And we've definitely had times where we've showed up to play somewhere and people have actually left the bar or moved further back or like just looked at us like we're crazy. And we've had times where honestly we've just been playing for an empty bar for hours at a time, just like trying, hanging in there. And the other type of resistance that we've experienced is resistance from the traditional classical music world. And in a way, this is the more daunting resistance to face. Traditions run very deep in this art form. And as a result, people can be skeptical. And I've actually found that the hardest part about putting these events together has not necessarily been engaging the audiences, but it's actually about getting musicians to come out and to play with us or to get on board with what we're doing. And actually, that's our goal at Classical Revolution. It's not just to attract new audiences, but it's also to empower classical musicians to take responsibility for the direction of our art form. Even though we faced challenges, we've also made some really great strides. More often than not, instead of leaving, people actually listen to us. And people are kind of like, wow, this is unexpected, and they'll come closer to us. And sometimes they'll listen to us for 3 hours at a time, like people with tattoos and ponytails and, maybe people who've never been to a classical music concert before. And even more exciting than that, I think, is also the progress that we've made building a really incredible support of musicians of the movement. And the people on stage are examples of that. And these people come out time after time and are performing in our venues for free because we don't make any money off of these performances. And they show up time after time because they really believe in what we're doing and they believe in advocacy of classical music. And they could be playing a gig somewhere else, but instead they're performing with us. So on stage, I'm joined by Daniel Ketter, Natalie Spear, Peter Kibbe, Emily Smith, Rachel Mangold, Park Nicholson, Patrick Quinn, Daniel Trahey, Elizabeth Kirstein, Carrie Holohan, and Shota Kay. We're part of a national, yes, thank you. We're part of a national movement with chapters in cities throughout the US and Europe. And each chapter is run completely independently with different visions and ideas. But we choose to share a same name to show that we're part of a larger mission. And we're using this organization to build our own communities and also to bring each of our communities together. And today is an example of that because we have a combination of members from both Classical Revolution, DC, and Baltimore. We're taking a chance every time we decide to perform outside of a concert hall. And we're also asking the public to take a chance because in order to progress, it will not just require us musicians to step outside of the box or take a risk. It will also require the public to do the same thing for us. And so we're asking, those of you who do not already listen to classical music to take a chance. And the next time you go to listen to music on Spotify or YouTube or the internet, just pause for a second, and before you type in Lady Gaga or something, maybe try listening to at least one piece of classical music. The piece that you're going to hear is Saraband Suite No. 6 by Johann Sebastian Bach. And in true classical revolution style, we've taken something traditional and put a twist on it. So this piece was actually originally written for just solo cello, but it was arranged by Baltimore composer Scott Lee for this mixed ensemble you see here. And we have a couple of surprises for you. And now I'll stop talking and I'll let the music speak for itself.